Alright, so I'm going to do a video on how to use your graphing calculator to get standard deviation. And I did another video on how to use how to calculate standard deviation by hand. But here's what I did. I went onto Wikipedia and I looked up the heights of presidents of the US. And here's what I found. I found all the information. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to enter into my calculator and I'm going to show you how to use the calculator to figure this out. So the first thing I did was I go over and I press stat, and that's this button here. And when I press stat, I end up with the screen. So right now, if you press stat, you should get the screen. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to select edit. And so I'm going to press number 1, and I'm going to enter in all of my data. And so if I enter in all my data, it's going to look something like this. There's 2 presidents who were 193 centimeters tall. These were all in centimeters. Abraham Lincoln was one of them.
We all have to eat some good food until we get that pudding.
Oh, that's true. We do have to eat good food until we get pudding.
And then, this is how much carrots and 1 clementine you have to eat until you have pudding. This is how much. 1 clementine and a lot of carrots.
All right. So, and what I did is, if you go back and you take a look, I entered my data in L1. That's the column L1. All right. So after I enter in all my data, I'm going to press stat again, which is this button.
Then pick 1 carrot.
Benjamin, welcome to my video, but I'm trying to do something, so if you can give me a little bit of time, that'd be great. Once you do that, you're going to press stat a second time, and now you're going to go to calc. All right? You press calc, and you're going to get, and I don't think I actually did a picture of this screen. Oh, I did. You're going to pick 1 var stats. All right? So select 1 var stats. And when you do that, your screen is going to say 1 var stat. And now, in order to, because I put all my data in L1, you have to press second in L1. So second is, and then the number 1 will give you L1. So it'll say, your screen will say 1 var stats. You press second in L1, and it'll say L1. And then you press enter. When you press enter, you're going to get this screen here. And X bar is your mean. The sum, that means sigma X. That's the sum of all your X values, or all the heights. Yes, Benjamin?
Pick 1 carrot.
I'll take that carrot. Thank you.
And pick another one.
No, I'll take that carrot too. Alright, and then this is the sum of the values squared.
Pick any carrot you want.
Sx means the sample standard deviation. But because we did all the presidents, I'm going to use this one, which is sigma x, which is the population standard deviation. So Sx equals a sample, population standard deviation, but sigma x equals the whole population standard deviation. And like I said, that's the one we're going to select because I used all the presidents. And you can see the standard deviation is 6.85 for the presidents, 6.85 centimeters. N equals 43, and that tells me how many people I had. So in this case, we want 6.85, and apparently there was 43 presidents. If you scroll down, you're going to get this. It says min x equals 163, so that's the smallest president. Quartile 1 was 174, the median was 182, the third quartile was 183, and the max was 193. This information is useful if you're going to do a box and whisker chart. I'm going to explain. I want you to take note of these values, and maybe I'll write them down. Min is 163. You know what? I'm going to cheat a little bit. because I already have all this down. So I have 163 as a min. Quartile 1 was 174. Quartile 2, which is the median, is 182. Quartile 3 is 183. And quartile 4, or not quartile 4, the max, was 193. Alright, so now I'm going to do something else. I'm going to go to my window. Oops, that's not my window. I'm going to get to my window, and to get to window, you press this button here. And so when you do that, I'm going to, because my window will have different values in it right now, but I'm going to put in 160, because my minimum was 163. My max was 193, so I'm going to put in 200. So that gives me a little wiggle room. I'm going to do my X scale, so how many increments does each little block worth? I'm going to do 4, because 4 times 10 is 40. My difference is 40. My Y minimum is going to be 0, my Y maximum is going to be 10. And I'm going to have a mistake here, but that's fine. Remember that your Y max is 10, and I'm going to show you what you can do later on. And my Y scale can go up as 1, because it's 0 to 10. Now, this is really neat. If you press Y second and Y equals, you're going to open up the stat plot, and that's what we want. And it's going to look like this. I'm going to press enter on the number 1, and what's going to happen is you're going to get, you're going to get something like this. So you had to go on, turn on the stat plot, and the first one I'm going to do is I'm going to select the bar graph. It's actually a histogram, but that's fine. And when I do that, I'm going to get this picture, and you can see if you press trace, which is this button here, it will go through these values, and what you're going to see is this value here is actually 14. So if I went back to my window, that's not my window. If I went back to my window, I could actually make my Y max 15, and maybe I'd go up by 3, and then you'd get the full picture. But I didn't. But that's how you get your bar graph. If I go back to this, you'll see this one's not actually blackened out. It's a box and whisker. There's 2 box and whiskers. This one is a box and whisker with 2 little dots, and this is just a regular box and whisker. This box and whisker will show any outliers that you have, and this one will just show your regular outliers. This X list has to be L1 because that's where my data is stored. If I had my data stored in L2, then I have to change that to L2. And you do that once again by pressing second and 2, or second and 3 if you had it in L3. And then finally, when I do my box and whisker, I get this. If you press trace and you move left and right, you'll get your values. And take a look. Quarter 1 is 174. I hope that was useful. I hope you enjoyed this video. It took me a little bit of time to make it, but I think it was worth it.